Hi, my name is Coldbeer, and let's start with Lost in Random. This is a gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure where every citizen's fate is determined by a roll of the dice. That may sound as a very random thing, and believe you me, it is, but around 90% of positive reviews are here for a reason. So you will step into a beautiful and haunted wonderland where you must venture through the 6 twisted realms of random, each with its own maddening set of rules. Help its unpredictable inhabitants, save your sister, well, or mine, I don't mind, and discover a twisted tale in the process. Basically, if you enjoy Tim Burton's creations, this game may be a real spoon of potato salad for you, because it definitely draws inspiration from Burton's works. The game has an interesting story with motivational moments you can relate to, nice humor but a bit clunky combat, and it's really short. Also, people on Steam are warning players that if you complete a chapter, you can't go back to it ever again, so if you're hunting for achievements, do it in the first try. Alaloth, Champions of the Four Kingdoms. As people are saying, it's like Diablo, Dark Souls and Baldur's Gate in one. Set in an interesting fantasy world, Alaloth is based on fast-paced action and a deep narrative. As developers say, it brings action RPG dynamics to a new level, with skill-based gameplay inspired by great classics and modern games. So in other words, it is inspired by everything, and probably that's why it has only a mostly positive review score on Steam, with less than 80% of positive reviews. But not all bad reviews are legit. For example, one guy is complaining that he can't find where to turn in quest items, and then he is just steamrolled over by developers who said that they wrote 300,000 words for a reason. So the guy literally skipped all the hints and then wrote a bad review. What a giant. Dude, I don't know, go play Scorn and run around with that bleeding hand instead if you want to understand the true meaning of confusion. The Outer Worlds. Somehow I always think that this game gets too little attention. It is definitely one of the best RPG games I have played in recent years. It is funny, it has secrets, many guns and places to explore. It's not just Fallout in space. I had more fun playing The Outer Worlds than I had playing Fallout 4. Even if this is a bit smaller game, I can absolutely give it 9 cold beers out of 10 and recommend it to you without a doubt. But I have to mention that it has some cons as well, like unbalanced difficulty. You know, at first you die a lot, but later everything else dies in seconds, even the strongest monsters. Then you may think,
hey, I will switch from hard to the hardest difficulty.
But you can't. You have to play the whole game on this hardest difficulty without switching it off, because developers decided to add some stupid achievements most of the players don't even care about. So you will feel overpowered all the time and you can't do anything about that. That's why I didn't buy and didn't play the last DLC. I already feel like a combat god, everything just dies when I blink. Dead Island Definitive Edition. The same developers who made Dying Light created this zombie-infested game as well, and this zombie apocalypse is more beautiful than ever. You will be running from and killing undead in the beautiful tropical island, a wonderful paradise on Earth, and this contrast is really great. Exploring this island is really fun, from the zombie-infested deserted city to secluded beaches and vast highlands. Roam around in order to discover the story behind the zombie outbreak. You can also play in a story-based 4-player co-op mode. Also, have you noticed that this game actually calls zombies zombies? Not walkers, roamers, crazed ones, biters, freakers and so on, but actual zombies, and they have my respect for not trying to invent the bicycle again. Zombies are zombies.
But what if they are fast and smart?
Then they are fast, smart zombies. Period. Anyway, in Dead Island Definitive Edition you will get the main game and all the DLCs as well. Also, graphics are in HD and so on, and the price is more than great. GreedFall Gold Edition. Here you'll have a complete freedom in character progression. Play as a male or female, customize your appearance and freely choose your abilities, spells and skills. But do not expect miracles, this is not a highest level RPG, although it looks like one. GreedFall was created in 3 years and its budget was about $5 million. For a AAA open world game like this, it's the bare minimum for it to be decent, so treat it more like a very expensive indie game instead. Somewhat similar budget had the Kingdom Come Deliverance team, and Skyrim's budget was about 100 million. For it you can literally create 20 games like GreedFall, so keep that in mind before you start comparing GreedFall with the giants of the genre. And this version, GreedFall Gold Edition, includes a DLC, so this is a better version of the game if you compare it with just the basic GreedFall. It is a decent game, and as I've said many times, I would give it about 7 cold beers out of 10. BioShock, The Collection. This great deal is not appearing in the search bar, you can only find it when you actually click on any BioShock game and then scroll down a little. This is a well-known shooter franchise loaded with weapons and interesting tactics. You'll have a complete arsenal at your disposal, from simple revolvers to grenade launchers and chemical throwers. This awesome pack contains all 3 BioShock games and 5 DLCs just for €12 or similar amount of USD. Basically all 3 games with DLCs combined are now cheaper than any one game separately. First and second BioShock games were set underwater, but in the third one you go high in the sky to the city among the clouds named Columbia. The year is 1912 and you have to rescue a mysterious girl or die trying. Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. These games were pinnacles of the RTS genre about 25 years ago, and now they are both fully remastered in 4K. That sounds amazing and plays floppy disks of nostalgia in my brain. In this release you will find all 3 expansion packs, rebuilt multiplayer, a modernized UI, map editor, and over 7 hours of legendary remastered music by Frank Klepacki. If you are old enough to play these games when they were initially released, this is the best way to relive these days with way better graphics. Here you'll find many cool things, like upscaled cinematic footage, enhanced sidebar UI, leaderboards for one-on-one matches, replays, 250 multiplayer maps, and even official mod support. But if you actually want a modern RTS game with all the cool stuff, these remastered games will not satisfy your needs. Go and play StarCraft 2 instead. It's free and it's awesome. LA Noire. This is a violent crime thriller that blends action with true detective work. You will search for clues, chase down suspects, and interrogate witnesses as you struggle to find the truth in a city where everyone has something to hide. And when you try to unearth the sinister secrets, there is a huge chance that someone will try to silence you for good. During Hollywood's golden age, you play as LAPD detective thrown headfirst into a city drowning in its own success. Corruption is rampant, the drug trade is exploding, and murder rates are at an all-time high. So in your fight to climb the ranks and do what's right, you must unravel the truth behind a string of arson attacks, racketeering conspiracies, and brutal murders. People on Steam are saying that civilian casualties are just a part of the job, and the game itself is like a noir GTA 5. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. This is a massive, challenging action RPG that drops you into a vast open world full of different creatures and characters. The game was a bit underrated when it initially came out, but over the years Dragon's Dogma regained its glory. I've heard that the second part is in the works as well, but the release date is rumored to be only in the year of 2025. Dragon's Dogma shares its open nature with the games like Horizon and Witcher 3, but has more strategy and more dynamic fights. It's a tougher game in general, but if you like to explore the open world and love fantasy games, you will probably like this game as well. Gamers are talking that this is an underrated gem that is a must-play for every open-world RPG fan. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Recently I watched my wife playing it. She's a great fan of the franchise, she even finished Andromeda. I couldn't. So what I gathered is that this is still an awesome game. Well, 3 remastered games in one, but the graphics of the first part are still morally old. So don't expect miracles, these are all the games with not so fancy overhaul as Crysis franchise. First Mass Effect was released in 2007, so really long time ago. Anyway, if you like science fiction space operas, Mass Effect is one of the best there is. It has a great plot, many twisted turns of events, mysteries on every corner, giant robots, giant spaceships, and giant space stations. Everything is giant here. It's also full of great characters as well, and it has about 90% of positive reviews on Steam. By buying Legendary Edition, you will get all 3 remastered Mass Effect games with all the DLCs and other stuff included and remade in one huge game. Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition. If you don't know what Titanfall is, you may think that this is only a multiplayer battle royale of some sort, but it is not. The game actually features a very nice, although really short single-player campaign packed with action and inventive twists. Here you play as militia rifleman stranded behind enemy lines who encounters a veteran Titan. You must work together to uphold a mission you were never meant to carry out. And of course, in Titanfall 2 there is a multiplayer portion of the game with fast-paced, first-person action with Titans and deadly pilot abilities. This version of the game includes all the deluxe and jump starter content, which includes new Titans, warpaint, weapons, tokens, and even more, and this price is more than great. Aliens Fireteam Elite. Here, after so many fear-infused hours in alien isolation, you can finally get some revenge on these terrifying creatures. You will kill hundreds of them, so it's nothing like the movies. Although it's really fun to play if you have a friend or two. You can play in single player as well, but I assure you that if you want full experience, you will have to find some friends. I know that may be mission impossible, but you can try anyway. You don't need real friends, all you need is some Discord channel with the same-minded people. So here you'll be exploring some friendly planet filled with friendly fauna and live in harmony all together. Except you don't. This game is a carnage where you will have to battle through hordes of different types of xenomorph, customize your character and gear, and level up as you try to contain this ever-growing threat. I especially like the diversity of enemies in this game. They really took their time to create some nasty monsters. The game itself is basically Left 4 Dead just with aliens. I think it's great, and 81% of Steam reviews are also positive. Dead Space. Of course, I'm speaking about the recent remaster of the game, which is a fantastic game just like the original Dead Space, but I can almost assure you that if you played it a long time ago, you won't spot any difference. I completed the first game more than 10 years ago, and when I watched someone play the remastered version, honestly, I couldn't see anything new. Yeah, the graphics now are shiny and beautiful, but it is exactly how I remember the original version, so the remake is a great game on two occasions. First, if you want to replay the game, and not because there is a remaster available, but because of the game itself. And second, if you never played it. In that case, I can assure you this is one of the best horror shooter games I ever played. Well, it's more like a thriller with a bunch of jump scares, but the atmosphere is amazing. The surroundings of the space station are made incredibly well, and the necromorphs are really creepy. Be sure that your mental balls are strong and hairy. 10 cold beers out of 10. Untitled Goose Game. Ever wanted to be an evil goose? No? Well, you should, because you can be a menace to society not only being human that you are. Here you'll make your way around town, setting up ranks, stealing hats, honking a lot, and generally ruining everyone's day. This is a nice and funny puzzle game. And also, if you ever feel alone, you can play co-op with your mother-in-law, and that's how there will be 2 evil geese. The more the merrier, right? If you love making people suffer, this game is definitely for you. Curse of the Dead Gods. This game is obviously oriented for the fans of Hades, or as one commentator on Steam said, Curse of the Dead Gods plays as Hades and looks like Darkest Dungeon. Honestly, it's a fair comparison. So in this game you will seek untold riches, eternal life and divine powers. It will lead you to this accursed temple, a seemingly infinite labyrinth of bottomless pits, deadly traps and monsters. Well, the rest is self-explanatory. The game also introduces a cool mechanic of unique curses. They influence each attempt, putting a twist on every action. Although keep one thing in mind, you will have to parry a lot, and that Souls-like mechanic sometimes is very annoying. Otherwise, it's a great game. 86% of reviews on Steam are positive. Hardspace, Shipbreaker. There are so many games where you just fly the spaceships, but have you ever thought about where these ships go when you don't need them anymore? Well, me neither. That would be dumb. But someone couldn't shake the idea and made this game. So here, equipped with cutting-edge salvaging technology, you will carve and slice spaceships to recover valuable materials, upgrade your gear and take on more lucrative contracts, and pay your billion credits debt to a shady corporation. Human life means nothing to them, so you are just a tool with a capability of holding other tools. You know, if your hammer could hold another hammer, nobody would need you at all. Just think about that, how fragile everything is. Anyway, the game is a proud owner of very positive reviews, and if you feel adventurous, this may be your spoon of potato salad. Although be careful, too much of zero gravity can convert you into another space object. A comet. A vomit comet. SteamWorld Dig 2. Game takes you on a mining adventure forged in Metroidvania flames. When an old trading town is struck by mysterious earthquakes, it's up to you, a lone steambot, along with your unlikely companion, to uncover what trembling terrors lies beneath. And you know what you will uncover deep below?
Your fat mama snoring.
Oh, come on, no, it's a secret and you will have to discover it by yourself. So you will dig your way underground and explore vivid worlds riddled with treasure, secrets and deadly traps. Fight dangerous enemies at every turn of the underworld, including shadowy creatures and the haunted remains of an ancient electrical threat. Well, this game is obviously story-rich, and that is awesome. Source of Madness. This is a side-scrolling, dark action roguelite set in a twisted Lovecraftian world powered by a procedural generation and AI machine learning. You will take on the role of a new acolyte as you embark on a nightmarish odyssey, and in the process uncover the cosmic secrets of the creepy world and the Tower of Madness. The coolest thing here is that the horrific monsters you face are never the same. They are concocted with procedural generation and animated using a neural network AI. What can I say, the future is now. I can't wait for more expensive games, 3D games maybe, to start using similar or maybe more advanced technology. Monsters designed by artificial intelligence which is using our darkest fears as an algorithm would be beyond awesome. Omno. The game is a journey of discovery through an ancient world of wonders. It is a single-player adventure full of puzzles, secrets, and obstacles to overcome. The power of a lost civilization will carry you on an epic quest through lush forests, sun-blasted deserts, frozen tundras, and even to the clouds. On your way, you'll discover a vibrant world full of strange life forms, from cute little critters to something vicious that will remind you of your evil ex. The game is made by one guy, so don't expect something huge or mind-blowing, but keep in mind that more than 90% of the reviews on Steam are positive, and people are saying that this game is dope. Although very short, only about 4 hours of your boring life will be made better by Omno. Metal Hellsinger. The game has 97% of positive reviews, and that is insane. You'll kill demons to the rhythm of metal and vengeance on an infernal journey through the 8 hells. This is a rhythm first-person shooter bursting with monsters, gorgeous weapons, and heavy metal music created for this game by amazing metal geniuses, like Serj Tankian for example. Yeah, Serj himself sings a new song created especially for this game, and you kill demons listening to it. The song was created with the idea behind it that it is meant to be listened to while killing demons. It is hard to wrap my head around this fact and how metal it actually is. So if you like fast-paced first-person shooter games like Shadow Warrior or Doom, search no more. Metal Hellsinger is what you need to kill your boredom with style. Owlboy. I don't know who had an affair with the owl from Winnie the Pooh, but the Owlboy is obviously the result of this forbidden love. Well, they have covered this story with some other one in the game, but we all know the truth. So if you were ever thinking, what if classic pixel art platformer games were made today, Owlboy is probably one of the best examples of that. Gameplay is really fun, and it has a heart-touching story and characters. And to be honest, it's probably an amazing game to play on your Steam Deck. But if you, like me, don't have one yet, be sure that you have at least a gamepad to play Owlboy. I can assure you, it is a pain in the assicles to play it with a keyboard. Game has close to 90% of positive reviews, so it's fair to say that this is a good game, and this price is kinda nice as well. Forgive me, Father. As the only one left with full senses, you embark on a journey in search of answers and relief through a distinctive retro horror comic book inspired game that feels as if it came straight out of Lovecraft's books. Well, honestly, if Mr. Lovecraft had the ability to make comics, they would probably be way darker and gloomier than this game. So here you will have to be aware of your madness level, which dynamically changes during gameplay and gives you additional power. You will choose your active skills depending on your playstyle and use them to fight against eternal evil. The arsenal of weapons in your custody is more than great. Various shotguns, cursed dolls, brooms, and even filthy creatures of the nightmares. All these will make your journey fun and way less fun for your adversaries. You know, it is hard to be in a great mood when your body parts are attending a bloody dismantle party. The game is filled with hard-to-reach places and hidden areas, so it is really appealing for the old-school Doom and Duke Nukem players. Game is strictly single-player, made entirely for your own pleasure. Thank you for watching, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.